Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Way of Truth Full Moon webinar. And our topic today is lighting your fire, sparking your inner motivation to reach your goals and change your life. Hi, everyone. I'm Wendy Spurgeon. I'm the creator of the Way of Truth Sacred Journey portal and your hostess for our Full Moon webinar. I'm very excited to be speaking with you today. And supporting us with slides this evening is Shelley Chase, writer and life happiness coach. Today, we are going to explore several key points about motivation. So during this call, we're going to cover the following: what motivation is and how it works, those influences that can diminish or extinguish your motivation, a process for reestablishing and sustaining motivation once again. But before we jump in, we're just going to take a minute to review some of the webinar guidelines so that we can ensure we have a successful training. If you find yourself in a place with a lot of background noise, please mute yourself. It's always best for these trainings to be in a place where you can really concentrate and you don't have a lot of distractions. And I will mute and unmute you. It looks like Anna is here, so I'm going to allow Anna to talk. Welcome, Anna Katie. Let me unmute you for the moment. This is okay, great. So if you look on the side there or at the bottom of your screen, you'll see a microphone. And it should be kind of X'd out right now because you're muted. But when we get to those places in the training where we'll be reflecting about questions or a lesson we just did, you can unmute yourself by clicking that microphone. And if you can say your name before you speak, we always like to know who we're hearing from. Oh, looks like Maggie is here too. Everybody's coming in. Hi, Maggie. I'm so glad you're here. Welcome. Wow. And then be participative. These trainings are just so much more valuable when everyone gets involved. So let's begin our journey. So let's begin by asking what may seem like a very fundamental question. What is motivation? Often the metaphor of a fire is used to help explain what motivation is and what it looks like. Actually, a fire is a really good metaphor because it captures some of motivation's most important qualities, such as intense passion and ardor, bursts of liveliness and brilliance, ignitions and sparks of excitement. So defining motivation from the perspective of a fire makes sense. But what about you? How would you define the concept of motivation? How do you see it? It's important that we can define motivation for ourselves before accepting how others define it. Because each one of us is different, we can define motivation in very unique ways depending on our own experiences and perspectives. So now is a really good time to pull out worksheet number 1, creating a fire. And I sent those worksheets out to you prior to the start, so hopefully you received those in your email box and took some time to print them out. Creating a fire, a way to define motivation. So I'm going to pull out mine as well so I can participate with you. So, listed on the worksheet, you will find various definitions around the concept of motivation. So what I'd like you to do is scan through these definitions and highlight or underline or circle the words and phrases in these various definitions that resonate most with how you would define the term motivation. And I'm going to give you about a minute to work on that. I'll set a timer. So go ahead and start working on that. And let's give it about another 30 seconds. And we'll come back together. Great. Let's come back together. And I'm just going to go ahead and unmute you. And I just say your name and pop in with what you circled, the terms that stood out for you. Okay, Anna Katie, you're unmuted. What have you got?
Nothing. I'm still trying to feed my dog.
Oh, all right. You're back on mute. Let's see. Holly, let's see if I can get you unmuted.
I'm unmuted.
Okay,
I did it myself.
Wonderful.
I've got my little button. I've got an extra sheet. I printed 2 of these, so if anybody needs a copy, just let me know. That's a joke. Okay. I underlined providing a reason to act, and I crossed out in a certain way. Aroused to take action towards a goal. And then the last 2, to be continually interested and committed to make an effort. But I don't know, I maybe take out the word continually too, because it comes and goes. Inner power or energy that pushes us towards action. And that's probably the one I like best. And the single word that is muse. My muse really motivates me. And I think it's like energy feels to me.
Thanks so much. Maggie, do you have anything that you'd like to pop in with?
Let's see. I'm still trying to figure out the screen, but
yeah, we can hear you. You did it.
Okay, good. I would also say the ones that stood out were the one that's aroused to take action towards a goal, and desire, interest, and incentive or drive to do. So kind of action-oriented ones. Excellent.
Yeah. I like that one too, aroused to take action towards a desired goal. The process of stimulating people to action. As you can see in this simple exercise, motivation can be defined in a number of ways, and the definition of motivation will vary for each of us. But in essence, for all of us, it's about an inner feeling that drives us toward a goal or experience that is meaningful in some way. Generally, motivation is defined as a driving force that initiates and directs our behavior. In other words, motivation is a kind of internal energy, like Holly said, like a fire that drives a person to do something in order to achieve something. In other words, so motivation in its best form is an internal force that makes you want to do something. It's what drives you towards your goal, whether that goal is to wake up early, change a habit, exercise, run a marathon, write a book, lose weight, organize your life, get out of debt, or countless other things that could better your life. Motivation is the key, but it's not always easy, day in and day out, to keep it burning. It, just like a flame, motivation burns bright and grows dimmer. Motivation is not a constant thing that is always there. So defining motivation is only half the foundational understanding we need. We must also be clear on how motivation works so that we can keep it burning bright as much as possible and learn ways to fuel it when it starts to go dim. To build a fire, you need three things: something to burn, heat, and air. To have a healthy fire, you must know how to tend it so it remains strong. The same is true of our motivation. We must know what kinds of things spark us to take action. There's been a great deal of research around the concept of motivation and what motivates us. So I'm going to ask Shelley to show us some slides that depict some of the findings from this research. And the purpose of this exercise is for you to identify what motivates you most. So Shelley's going to slowly go through the slides, and as she does, I want you to notice your reaction to each slide, whether it motivates you or does not motivate you, whether it fires you up or not. So you can see the first slide there to take in is challenge. Impact. Are you motivated by the impact you will make? Power. Are you motivated by power? Wealth. Wealth can be a very powerful motivator. Recognition. That's a big one for a lot of people. They're motivated by recognition. Fear. A sense of accomplishment. Creating. Learning. Contribution. What motivates you? Let's pull out worksheet number 2. And this one is called My Motivational Sparks. Now, when you look at the motivations that are listed there, they're the same ones as the slides we just looked at. I'd like you to take some time. The directions are at the top, but take some time to rate each of those motivations with how strongly that one motivates you. And you can assign each of those motivators 1, 2, or 3 sparks according to how strongly it motivates you. So if challenge is not motivating at all, you'd give it a 1. If it was somewhat motivating, you'd give it a 2. And if it's highly motivating, give it a 3. And you can actually just put those numbers underneath those columns of not motivating, somewhat motivating, or highly motivating. And there's also space on the bottom of your worksheet where you can write in any additional motivators that are personal for you. And if you have identified those, go ahead and write them in and then rank them with a 1, 2, or 3. And I'll give you a minute to work on this. Great. And now review your ratings and identify your personal top 3 motivators. And when you do, you can put 1, 2, and 3 in the space to the left of those motivators on your worksheet. And when you've done that, I'd love to hear I'd love to hear what you identified. So when you're ready, go ahead and unmute yourself and pop in with your shares.
Okay, this is Holly. So I think my number 1 is creating. I got really excited when I saw that. All the all over her. That's what I look like, only I have a slightly different color palette. I get even messier than she does. I put 2 as contribution, and I also added some words to it to say love, helpfulness to others, and you could actually put impact in that. So I am highly motivated. If I see that somebody needs some help, I will work diligently and really hard to help them do that. And the next one I put down was fear, not because I think that some of the biggest changes I have made in my life have come out of what I would have thought were the worst situations, and probably that scared me the most. But it ended up the things that really turned my life around in different ways. So that's mine.
Thank you, Holly. I know I also am really motivated by creating, but fear is a really powerful motivator. Like, we don't really like it. We don't like to be in that fear state, but sometimes, like if we have a big red flag in our body, something happens that causes that fear, it can really push you to make changes in your life, or, hit certain health goals, things like that. And who else would like to share? What did you notice about what motivates you and what doesn't? Anna has her hand up. Let me unmute you, Anna.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay, by the way, congrats to Shelley. Those are fabulous slides for that. Anyway, yeah, fear does not, it freezes me. It does not motivate me at all. Wealth does not motivate me. I wish it did. Challenge doesn't. But what does is the sense of accomplishment and the contribution and the creating. Mainly the contribution, because I feel really passionate about helping teens, young people, the next generation. But like you say, it comes and goes, man, and I'm tired a lot.
Yeah. It ebbs just like a flame.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, Anna Katie. And who else would like to share? Maggie, do you have something you'd like to share? Or anyone? What did you discover when you had to prioritize? Anything come up around that? Was that weird to have to pick? And Maggie has her hand up. I'm going to unmute you, Maggie.
But for me, it was pretty easy to pick. Fear is definitely my main motivator. Like,
oh, shoot. Let me unmute you. Sorry, Maggie. That was me.
number two, that was just kind of basic desire for something. If there's something I know I really want and it seems achievable, then I'm really motivated to do that. And then I guess the next would be recognition, not wanting to disappoint other people and showing that I'm trying to be helpful. So those would be mine.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Everyone is motivated by different things in life. It's important to know what lights your fire and what does not, as this will impact the goals you set, the reasons you set them, and how easy or difficult it is to achieve them. So now that you know what motivates you, let's continue to explore what it takes to light your fire of motivation. Before beginning to gather materials to make a fire, there must be a reason to start the fire in the first place. Okay, so what are some of the reasons that we might start a fire? Why would we build a fire? Just pop in.
To make a difference in the world.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say to have some fun.
Have some fun. Right. But if it's an actual fire, right, we build a fire for heat or to cook with or as a signal to others or to have a central place where people will meet.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. There's always a reason for it, that the fire does something. So when building a fire, there is a goal for the fire. The fire will accomplish something for us. And the same is true of personal goals we set for ourselves. Our goal is to accomplish something that will better our lives. Additionally, our desire has to be strong so that we will achieve our goal. Certain things must be true about our goal in order for it to truly motivate us. It must be driven by a desire to attain something you truly want. And it must be in alignment with your values. It must be compelling enough for you to be willing to push through the status quo to pursue it. And you have to believe in your goal enough that it motivates you into action. So I'm going to mute you all again, and I'm going to ask you to pull out worksheet number 3, a successful fire. All right. Now, if you take a look at the top of the worksheet, The fire represents a goal you have achieved and the motivation that spurred you on to achieve it. So first of all, identify a goal that you have achieved in your life that was meaningful to you. And then write down that achieved goal for number 1 at the top of the worksheet. And I'm going to just give you a minute to think about that.
I don't think I have any achieved goals.
So far. You spotted. All right. And now let's move to number 2 on the worksheet. My motivation for it. And I'll just ask you to reflect on your motivation for achieving that goal. Was it the motivation of being challenged, to have a sense of personal power, to learn something new, to be recognized, or something else? So I'll give you a minute to think about that and write your answer under number 2. Great, thank you. So we said that the goal needed to be compelling enough to spur you into action. You had to take a first step, just as you must take the action of putting a match to the logs to start your fire. So now take a look at number 3 on your worksheet, the actions I took. And I'll just ask you to write down the steps that you took towards your goal in the space provided there. And we'll take another minute. Wonderful. And let's start to come back together for a moment. I'm going to ask for some volunteers to share your goal and why it was compelling and the steps you took to reach it. And Anna Katie, I see you have your hand up, so I'm going to unmute you first.
Oh, I didn't know I had my hand up. I can't remember if I was in a private school in Wilmington, North Carolina, and I produced Hamlet for 6th, 7th, and 8th graders.
Wow.
And it was an incredible experience. We did it at a community theater. It was awesome. And I can't remember if the teacher, if they were studying Hamlet or if I chose it. I can't imagine I had the balls to actually choose it. But anyway, it was incredible. And I never had a single doubt going through it. The casting was, I gave there were 3 Hamlets. I split the part, and 2 of them were women, and they were marvelous. And I don't know, it was just a step-by-step thing, but I was in a school where I had the support to do this, and
Right.
I was being paid. So that's a difference, you know. Anyway.
Yeah, you had the support. You had some accountability to
Yeah.
to complete.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And how somebody helped, I know somebody helped, running the lines for the kids. And there was already a fencing instructor there. We had real fencing, and it was really great.
Goodness. Wow, congratulations. And who else? Who else would like to share about a goal that they achieved and why it was compelling and the steps that you took to reach it?
Okay, this is Holly. So I live on Bainbridge Island outside of Seattle,
Oh, good.
and I was working at a shoe store, a very successful shoe store, and realized that there was 2 owners that were there, and I realized that I was trying to wrestle their dream away from them. I ended up being the manager, and I realized I really wanted a store of my own. And and part of that, I have to say, it was because of doing inventory work and my honesty with myself to look at my own behavior, because I was really behaving badly. And I thought it wasn't fair for me. They are the ones who had taken all the risk to open stores, and I should be willing to do the same. And right around when that happened, there was a store 2 doors down, that she was going to close her shop. And I went down and started talking to her and started negotiating, getting her space. So this starts going through the steps that I took. The first one was that I had to be open and willing enough. And then secondly, I approached her and started negotiating. And I prayed a lot. And I prayed, God, blaze me a trail that even I can see, because it was going to be, I wanted to do it if I should do it, but I didn't have a sound business plan, none of that. I went into this totally emotionally, and ended up getting the space. And then I had to start working out ideas on what I was going to do. And then I just started working. I started painting and decorating the place, and then it all came together. It was open for about 5 years.
Wow, that's wonderful. Thank you, Holly. And Maggie, how about you? What came up for you in this exercise? Okay, I'll unmute you, Maggie.
Okay. Am I?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure how to unmute myself. But for me, and and by the way, Holly, my parents and my sister live on Bainbridge, so small world. Mine was getting my master's, and for me, that was kind of the big deal, because I was always more of kind of a slacker in school, but ahead in my field that I wanted, and to learn more, and to have a sense of accomplishment. And so, you know, there were obviously a lot of steps involved, like taking GRE, researching schools. And I looked in different states, and, you know, I ended up moving to another state and learning, you know, an entire new city and everything. And, you know, researching the internships at the end of school, and, you know, doing all the papers and all of that. So that was kind of a big deal for me.
Wonderful. Thank you, Maggie. So now I'd like you all to take a look at number 4 on your worksheet, entitled Results I Experienced. And take a minute to write what meaningful results you experienced in your effort to pursue your goal. And I'll give you a minute for that journaling. Wonderful. And now move on to number 5 on your worksheet. What kept my fire going? So I'll ask you to write down how that motivated you to keep pursuing your goal. And I'll give you a minute to write on that. Great. So who would like to share the results you experienced and how that motivated you to keep pursuing your goal?
Hi.
Hi.
Well, unfortunately, you know, it's what I don't have now, because I will soon have. I was hired. I had to do it, but that wasn't. That was not motivating it, like, because that would be like fear. Like, what if you don't? I never thought that. It was the amazing creation of it, and seeing the kids actually accomplishing this. And then as I pursued it, I would keep getting ideas of how to make it work. I scored it musically. I mean, we got the fencing person. I mean, it was like things just unroll, and I got all the help I needed without even having to ask for it. So, I mean, I think it was kind of unusual. It's not the same thing as starting from scratch and having to get it funded and finding the team and all that. That's where I'm at now, and that's much more difficult. So.
Thank you. Yeah, so it was that sense of accomplishment.
Yeah.
And there was a great deal of desire, not only on your part, but you know, on on the part of the other teachers involved and the students,
Yeah.
right? So it was a
Actually,
shared goal that you.
I don't think the teachers really gave a damn. I don't remember even talking to them about it. Well, they knew it had, but it was the kids. They just took off.
Yeah.
You know?
Awesome. Thank you. Anyone else? Who else would like to share?
Okay, this is Holly.
Hey, Holly.
My creativity exploded with this. And the way that it was situated, I really got to give back to the community as far as just everything. There were so many wonderful experiences that I had in that store and was able to help different people. And everybody had great fun. We traveled, I created lasting relationships, and I grew tremendously. It was, I said it's like a fireball. Because when you get in that thing and it starts to take on a life of its own, it just, like when you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, it just can be so easy sometimes.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like work, does it? You're putting the work in, but gosh, you're just flowing. You're in the creative flow. I love it. Thank you. And Maggie, let me unmute you.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah. So my meaningful results were, a sense of accomplishment for sure. And the fact that I learned a lot. And since I was in a new place, I had a lot of new life experiences, mostly good, some bad, but mostly good, and made a lot of new friends that I wouldn't have met otherwise. And a lot of meaningful memories overall. And just being exposed in the different settings to different kinds of people that I might not have encountered otherwise.
Wow, those are powerful results. Thank you, Maggie. In order to stay motivated to work towards a goal, the goal has to be compelling, in alignment with your values and beliefs, and meaningful enough to persevere through the lulls. You also have to experience meaningful results like you did in order to keep the fire of your own motivation going. Sometimes, though, the effort is hard to sustain and we begin to lose motivation. So next, we will investigate the reasons why our flame dies out and how to keep our motivation going. As there are many goals we have set and achieved in our lives, there are also ones that we didn't complete. For some reason, we lost the motivation to continue pursuing them. So why does this happen? Why does the fire wane and the flame subside? So I'd like you to notice the picture and notice that the flame is dying down. So, what are some of the reasons that a fire begins to wane? Like sometimes it's because the fire wasn't getting enough oxygen. Or it isn't being fed logs to burn. It isn't being stoked. Or sometimes elements like rain or wind extinguish the fire. Our own motivation is just like the fire. In the beginning, it burns strong, but then it may start to die down. So why does our motivation wane? Who has thoughts about that, about why your motivation wanes, when you notice it waning, when you lose energy? Why is that?
Well, can you hear me?
Yep, can hear you.
Yeah. I realized that I have 2 books that I was working on for a couple of years, and then it just died. And it's because I was doing it all by myself, and I didn't have any support or any feeling that anybody besides me really wanted this to happen. And I was afraid I wouldn't have the money to do it. Mainly, it was just that I was completely alone in it. I just realized that. That is the real. and those things are still sitting here.
Right.
Yeah, I no money, but that's secondary, because if I'd had some support, I could have raised the money for it.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a powerful recognition. Thank you.
Mm.
And who else? Who else has some thoughts about why your energy waned, why that motivation died down?
This is Holly.
Hey, Holly.
So I think sometimes if your energy or my energy gets sucked off in another arena, something else happens. And then if I have that loss of energy, then it's just gone. Then I cannot want to do anything.
Right? Yeah, it just sucks that energy right out of you. And Maggie, you have your hand up. Let me unmute you. There you go. Oh, wait. Let me try again, Maggie.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. For me, it's a big part is failure. Like if I start out all excited to do something and then I try it and it doesn't work, then that discourages me, especially if it's multiple times and I kind of, lose ideas of how to go about it. And so I just kind of decide to not bother with it anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, sometimes. Sorry, Maggie. Sorry, go ahead, Maggie.
Oh, that was pretty much it. Also, if something's overwhelming, like I start in on something I'm excited about, and there's just so much, and I'm not sure of what to tackle first.
Yeah.
That'll kind of overpower me.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes the goal feels more externally driven and not internally driven. Like if it's somebody else's goal and you feel obligated because they put so much expectation on you. I'm speaking personally. That it can be really hard for me if I'm not internally driven, if I'm being externally pressured.
Yeah.
Or if you don't experience enough results or the results are too slow, other things become more important. And sometimes the effort, it just feels too hard and you get tired out. So let's move to worksheet number 4, titled The Fire That Faded. And I'd like to give you a few minutes to think about a goal that was once important to you, but you didn't complete it. And as you're thinking about this, I'm going to set the timer. As you're thinking about this, think about what doused your motivation to continue. Did other things take over in importance? Was the effort too hard? Were the results disappointing? I'm going to give you about 2 minutes to work on worksheet number 4. Okay, we got about 30 seconds left. The replay will be up tomorrow if you want to finish it. All right, and let's come back. And how about we have a little bit of sharing? Who would like to share their goal and why their motivation faded? I'd love to hear a couple of responses about that.
Well, I was already answering, I think, this with the 2 books because I didn't get support. But what motivated me in the beginning was I thought both projects would have great meaning and be supportive to, in one case it was about the goddess, and I thought it would be very supportive for women. And the other was called Your Original Life, was trying to help kids find a really meaningful path that was not necessarily mainstream or something that they knew other people were doing. And it just kind of faded out. It was the lack of support, feeling it didn't matter, wasn't good enough, I wasn't good enough. It just faded without support. And I really see that that's what I need.
Yeah. Yeah, you kind of, you need a support team. All of us do.
I didn't have any of it. And it's really good work, and it's still sitting there. I mean, but, it's kind of outdated now, but nevertheless, it was because I didn't even try to get support from other people. I thought I could do it myself. Mm-hmm. Not true.
And that is, yeah, there's a certain amount of programming from our culture that tells us that we ought to be able to do it on our own.
Yeah, that's right.
If we're really good, then we don't need help, right?
That's right, exactly.
Thank you. Those are powerful insights.
Yeah.
Who else would like to share?
Okay, well, this is Holly. I guess we're going in order.
I guess so. That works.
My store closed down, and I haven't really had the desire to really do something else. But I don't know. In the last couple weeks, I took my sewing machine out, and when these things start with me, I can be so grams up, and because I just am very passionate, so I can see a hole in the market as far as retail in this area. And I started sewing, and I had this whole idea about bed linens, and put together some prototypes. And the woman that I approached her, and I could not connect with her. I mean, it's somebody that I know, but it's like just time-wise, it just didn't work. And then there was some things that I needed that in order to keep going, and that's sometimes how I can tell if it's something that I'm supposed to keep doing. But it just kind of puttered out, and then I started to paint. I have some other things that I'm doing, and so I don't know if the idea is completely dead. It may be postponed, but that's what happened, and it's everything that's happened in the last 2 weeks.
Thank you. And Maggie?
So mine is continuing. My degree is in counseling psychology, and my goal was to finish licensure to practice out here in the Northwest. I was in Texas before and moved to the Northwest to be close to family. And the process here is extremely confusing. And so I interviewed for some positions where I could finish, but it's like 50 people interviewing for one spot sort of thing. And that wasn't working. And then, the state board was zero help. They said, move out to the country where people need help. And I was like, great, that's not helpful. So it's pretty much, again, like the failure aspect, trying and getting nowhere and not knowing what to do next. So I kind of just gave up on that and, kind of focused on something else.
Yeah. We have an inherent need to feel successful. So if we're not feeling successful at something, we have a natural tendency to gravitate something that's a little bit easier, that's a little more doable, that we can, and until we can get the support that we need to, get us out of that rut. Thank you all. Really, really great sharing. So, just like a fire, motivation needs tending in order for it to stay strong. It's important to know yourself well, to know what will distract you and discourage you, and how to protect your goals from losing their spark. And it is just as important to know what fuels you to keep your own fire of motivation burning. Even when we know what fuels us and what douses our flame, the fire can still diminish and almost go out. The good news is that we can rekindle fires of goals that were once important. And next we will examine the process for doing so. But first, I have a special offer for you. I created the Way of Truth Sacred Journey portal as like a coaching membership site, similar to a gym membership. Now, there is a free level of membership for folks who want to learn more about the benefits of coaching. And it's actually an incredibly valuable membership. And my colleagues in the life coaching industry think I am crazy to be giving all of this for free. So I just want to spell out for you the huge resource that you are receiving with this introductory level of membership. The Awakening Angels membership includes a powerful monthly newsletter with articles, exercises, and free gifts. I'm not making this up. People stop me on the street to tell me how much they appreciate what they receive in this, what's actually more of an e-magazine than a newsletter, really. Newsletters give you tips. Awakening Angel gives you really powerful resources. It gives you audios, videos, guided meditations, rituals. It's like a customized self-help e-magazine delivered to your inbox on the 10th of each month. And when I chart the time that I put into researching, writing, and editing, I could get paid a minimum of like $600 a year to deliver this quality publication to a private client. And you receive access to your Sisterhood Awaits, which is our New Moon Zoom Sister Circle. It's an online franchise of the global sisterhood movement. And our upcoming transformational theme for the new moon on July 2nd is Liberation Through Forgiveness. I forgive, I let go, I set myself free. This service is easily worth $300. There's the full moon webinar, like the one that you're participating in right now. The next one coming up is July 17th. And it's called the Time Challenge, Making Every Moment in Life Count. A monthly training series of this quality is easily worth $300, more really. And each month, you receive access to a self-study coaching challenge to explore and develop new life skills. The next one coming up is the second week of July. It's called the Law of Attraction Cafe, how to get what you desire in all areas of your life. And it is a super fun discovery. So a year of these monthly mini trainings goes easily for $1,200. And when you join this membership, you are encouraged to receive your initial soul purpose discovery call with me to uncover your vision and goals for the upcoming year, and then repeat it annually, like either on your membership birthday or your birthday. And I normally charge $110 for this type of session with my private clients. And then each month, you're encouraged to schedule one 15-minute laser coaching call with one of the coaches on our staff to test the waters of a coaching relationship and receive some support with your monthly goals toward your year vision. And I would normally charge $25 for a laser call, which adds up to $300 a year for once a month. So I am mentioning these things, the prices of these things, because I want you to understand the value of these resources that are delivered to your inbox every month. Now, Maggie, I think you just signed up for this webinar, but you're now on this list. So you're going to start to receive these things in your inbox unless you unsubscribe. So I just wanted to let you know what's coming, just like some really valuable resources. So you add it all up, and the Awakening Angels Journey membership provides nearly $3,000 worth of life coaching and personal development services. And it's because I'm trying to reach those who have not yet been reached, those who just automatically assume that they cannot afford the time or the money to get the support they need to get unstuck and back on the path to their way of truth. And I want you and all of those who are watching this replay to know the value that I am investing in you by offering these incredible life-transforming coaching membership for free. Because I want you to use them, and I want you to tell others about this profound opportunity to improve your own life and the lives of others by sharing this link with them. So you can see that at the bottom of the slide. Just have them go to thewayoftruth.live/N for newsletter, but it's really more like N for new life. Now, my marketing coach would be cringing if she saw me plugging my free membership on a webinar because she wants me to make money. And it is a lot of time and heart and creativity that goes into this life coaching gym, all of the events and classes and trainings and calls. And she's right, I deserve to be paid and I need to get paid. And she would be saying, show them your big ticket program, because there's always a segment of your audience that just wants to get to the most powerful program you have to offer. They have come because they need your solution to their problem. So I have designed a big ticket program specifically with you in mind. So let's get to it. The greatest act of courage is to own all of who you are without apology, without excuses, without masks to cover the truth of who you are. Debbie Ford. So Debbie Ford, the founder of the Ford Institute for Transformational Training. That's where I did my certification training in integrative life coaching. She has passed on. She was a world-renowned transformational pioneer, a 9 times best-selling author, filmmaker, and creator of the Shadow Process workshops. So Debbie passed away from a rare form of cancer in 2013. She was my teacher, my mentor, and she inspired me to take my personal development work to the next level. And now, Not only do I live this work, but I coach clients all over the world via Zoom and teleconference line. And I created the Way of Truth Sacred Journey portal to provide an immersive experience for my clients, each a pioneer in her own right. From Debbie Ford, the author whose inspiring words who have helped millions of readers, her final book before she passed, Courage, has the power to change your life. It's a tried and tested, process-driven approach to conquering our fears, accepting our flaws, and tapping into our potential. Courage will help readers discover the confidence they need to accomplish anything. In this personal and powerful guide to self-actualization, Ford uses years of wisdom she has accumulated as a spiritual teacher and personal growth coach to deliver an indispensable tool for anyone eager to become their own best self. And it's a perfect fit for readers of Deepak Chopra, Wayne Dyer, and Judith Orloff, and for new readers of Debbie Ford, and for longtime fans of her national best-selling books, The 21-Day Consciousness Cleanse, The Dark Side of the Light Chasers, The Secret of the Shadow, and more. So how many times have you felt yourself shrink? How many times have you made yourself small enough to fit into some role that you wanted no part of? How many times have you kept your mouth shut when you wanted to scream loudly or handed over your power to someone who didn't have your best interests at heart? Based on Debbie's book, Courage, Overcoming Fear and Igniting Self-Confidence, I'm offering a courageous love online immersion for women. It's an interactive, online guided self-study and coaching model spanning 5 months. Now I say it's a self-study, but there is also group. There is also Zoom groups that are connected to this immersion. So you're not working on it alone. You're working on your own among other leaders like yourself. So this is an opportunity to transform weakness into strength, insecurity to confidence, and fear to courage as you are led through a proven process and guiding principles to access a new kind of confidence and courage. See yourself in your life in a way that inspires, excites, and exhilarates you. That is some powerful fuel for your fire. Embody your courageous warrior of love. This will be available July 8th through December 9th. Join us for an immersive online journey into courage, overcoming fear, and igniting self-confidence by Debbie Ford. The Courageous Love Immersion is designed to support you in standing in all your strength and feeling great about yourself and rebuilding your courage and your confidence to achieve your goals. Courage coaching will support you to learn to love all of who you are, your history, your flaws, your misgivings, your weaknesses, and yes, even your fears. And I know that the phrase learning to love yourself it's been used a lot. It can feel pretty generic. It's used a lot in this day and age. So I really want to be clear. This immersion is more than learning to love yourself. You will actually take love on as a cause. In this immersion, my job will be to support you in becoming a warrior instead of a victim, a fighter instead of a follower. I will guide you to learn what keeps you stuck and feeling weak and hopeless, that it's nothing more than an illusion of the past, nothing more than the fears, real or imagined, that ruminate in your subconscious. And understand that everything you've come up against is not there to disempower you, but actually to give you an opportunity to be stronger, more courageous, and more in alignment with your higher or true self. Find yourself becoming more and more equipped to deal with all of life's challenges from a new and stronger position of self-confidence and courage. Stand up straighter, Feel the confidence of moving forward powerfully. Reclaim the power to accomplish anything, able to take on any challenge any day of the week. So the components of this courageous love immersion, it's a combination of group coaching and one-on-one coaching and self-study and book study and support group. It provides the structure and the tools and the raw materials to ensure a successful and transformative coaching relationship. So this powerful immersion includes online coaching modules. I actually recorded the book. I'm not selling an audio book, but there are a lot of people that, you know, they pick up a book and they start to read it. They start with that energy, just like the fire, but then they get distracted. They put it down and that book collects dust. Now, I have that acting background and I've got a really good voice for recording. So I have recorded these chapters not to sell, but just for the people who are going through this immersion, and it'll get audio dripped to you every couple of weeks. You'll get a new chapter that you can be listening to. There's powerful Zoom discussion groups. There is the Courage Coaching Workbook. There are bi-monthly private coaching calls with me and just-in-time email coaching. So the Courageous Love Immersion Training, it normally sells for $2,100, but for members of the Way of Truth, like you, I'm offering it at a special price of just $9.97 with a 30-day participate and get your money back guarantee. And I don't know if you can read the slide, but essentially it says, after participating fully, if you do not agree that the process of coaching is worth every penny of the price you paid, you just let us know anytime within the first 30 days of your coaching experience. We will promptly make arrangements to refund your charge card for the entire amount. And it'll be really great. If you'd like to join us, we will start our 5-month journey on July 8th. But I'm going to be really transparent with you. I don't just want to work with you for 5 months. I want you to keep coming back for more than just our 5-month journey. So I'm going to offer you something over the top, something that it would make my marketing coach just freak. I am declaring it the summer of self-love. So beyond our free level of membership, the next level is called My Year of Self-Love Journey. And it includes everything that you're getting in the free membership. And it adds 52 weekly self-love assignments. So you're actually getting directions from me and fun self-love assignments for you to work on. And it also includes the self-love bank. Now, this is a very, it's motivating because it's an incentive. It's a fun process that will inspire you to identify as many ways as possible to build your self-love each day, and it'll give you credits and the analogy of dollars every time you complete your self-love assignment for the week. So for those of you who are motivated by wealth, this is like a mental bank experience. You pay yourself mentally for these wonderful, the completion of the self-love assignments that you're doing for yourself. The self-love journey group. Be held in self-love accountability with your self-love journey group over quarterly Zoom meetings and private Facebook page. There is just-in-time coaching via your private secured client log. You can ask questions, receive feedback, and support just in time via your private email log. So if you're working on, getting back to your book, you need a little extra support. The private coaching calls and the just-in-time coaching, you can get support when you need it. There are 2 30-minute mentor calls per month with me or one of the coaches on staff to support your self-accountability towards your goals. And this level of membership starts with just a trial month of $17. And then it moves up to a recurring monthly payment of just $47 per month. And it's a very nice introductory level of coaching support. It is flexible and it's doable. I find that when I set myself up with a payment plan or a regular recurring payment, it motivates me to make the money to cover it because it's important to me and it feeds me and it makes me feel good. And I find my tribe of women that are working towards things with me. So it's really doable for a lot of people. And you can cancel or suspend your membership at any time for any reason with just a quick little email to your coach. I promise I won't get my feelings hurt. Absolutely. And I would like to offer you, as a gift for your participation today, embrace the summer of self-love. Join my year of self-love journey for just that $17 trial month and the $47 a month recurring. By the 4th of July, emotional freedom time, and receive your Courageous Love Immersion program for free. Thank God my marketing coach isn't watching this. She would be flipping out. What are you doing? That's $2,100 you're giving it away for free. And I want you to, write down that link while you're thinking about it. You go to thewayofTruth.live/VYH. That's it. So just write down the link, go there right after the webinar, and grab this very special offer. So now let's get back to the final leg of our training. Now that you know what motivates you and some of the things that can occur to weaken your motivation, let's learn a process of rekindling your motivation so that you can successfully achieve your goals in life that are important to you. At this point, let's pull out worksheet number 5, the steps to rekindling. Okay. So now I'm going to share a short presentation about the steps of rekindling a goal. And what I'd like you to do is to take some notes on the worksheet about what I'm about to say here. And these notes should include key points that you feel the most strongly about. So I'm going to share a little presentation. Write down what really pops out to you as important that you want to capture. All right. So here we go. Although the fire of your goal has waned, it has not gone completely out. Imagine that you can still use this fire, that you can still get it going again. And maybe you need more kindling, or maybe you need to blow on the burning embers. Maybe you need to move the logs around, or probably all three. And once you have determined what the fire needs, you can create the flame again and bring it back to life. The same is true for our own motivation. There are 6 steps that we can take to bring a goal back to life. There's actually 7. So step 1 in the process of rekindling the fire of your motivation is to restate your goal, your original goal. Step 2, acknowledge its importance. Ask yourself, is it still important to you? Will this goal make a difference in your life? Does this goal meet the criteria of being compelling enough for you to act and to challenge your status quo, how things are currently? Step 3 is to define your motivator. What motivator is operating for you now? Are you motivated by position or wealth? Are you motivated by power, learning, a sense of ease? Step 4 is to acknowledge progress. This means progress you made when you originally set out to accomplish this goal. So, Anna Katie, you got a lot of work done when you were originally working on that book. So acknowledge yourself for the work that you've already done. Note how far you traveled toward your goal when you first pursued it. If your ultimate goal was to run a marathon, did you run a half marathon? If you wanted to lose 10 pounds, did you lose 2? In rekindling your motivation, it is important to acknowledge that you are not going all the way back to the beginning and starting from square one. You already made effort and you already made progress. You gained new knowledge and experience. You have a leg up. In step 5, you put supports in place. Determine how you will keep your motivation high. In order to do so, first identify why your motivation waned in the first place. Was the goal unreasonable? Were results unsatisfying, or did they take too long? Did other priorities get in the way? Strategize what you will do to keep motivation high. Will you have more reasonable expectations for results? Will you pace yourself better? Will you make sure you celebrate each small success? Step 6 is to determine action. Decide on a reasonable first step you will take. What is the first action or set of actions you will take to resume working towards this goal? If the marathon was your goal, but you have not been running consistently, maybe you would reinstate a routine. Ask yourself, is the effort I am making sustainable? Can I see this effort through to the end? Make sure your plan is reasonable and your effort sustainable. Make sure you give yourself every chance for success. And Shelley, go ahead and show us the last one there. Lock it in with the benefits. So again, this is a part of acknowledging, like really seal this process in by receiving the benefits and letting yourself feel really, really good. So I'd like to give you a moment to solidify your notes. And then I would love to hear if anyone would be willing to state the points that were meaningful or the insights that you received from this little presentation. Who'd like to share? Let's go in order. It's been working.
I can't right now.
Okay. All right. Who else?
Number 2.
All right.
Okay, so what is it you want from us right now, Wendy?
Oh, just share what popped out for you, the notes you took.
Oh, okay. Well, this is what I thought was interesting. I remembered one of the I have kids that are active addicts that are, there were some things that happened in the last couple weeks, and that's really what derailed me. And that back to the first thing I talked about, how one of the things that will douse my motivation is when my energy gets sucked off in another area. And that's what I was referring to. And so this is, I just, but you do this work, and then I can see for myself what's going on. So I think it's probably that I really needed to restate what it is that I want to do, which is this betting idea that I have. And I'm simultaneously, in order to be able to keep successfully moving through with it, I'm having to do work to deal with my codependency with my kids, because it's just becoming so clear that it derails my life when it's, they have to live their lives. So I liked it, this last page, the whole thing about, because you can just, it's like being able to pick it up and start again, and be able to, put down the ideas, and then to acknowledge the process, which is that I made like 3 prototypes, and it's like it's all right there, and I can just pick it up and start going again. And the other thing that came out in doing the work today was realizing that I wanted to be doing this with, I didn't want to be doing it with just by myself. But what kind of got reflected back to me was when I went out to, because I can get motivation from other people if I'm working with another person or working in a group. It can be really motivating for me. And it may be that just like when I opened my store, it really required that I get really clear with myself. And there was just a lot of work that I had to do on my own that nobody else could do for me. And so I think that that's probably the case with this, that it would have been the easier thing to have somebody else come on board. But I'm not quite done with the idea yet. So I just think, isn't it that funny that this is what I come in and do it? And I feel like the universe just said to me, yeah, get back to the sewing machine.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Get back to work. Love it. Love it. And Maggie.
So what I did, I'll probably have kind of a short answer, I guess, because what I did was just kind of think of goals in general, because I lose motivation pretty quickly, and then just kind of looking at this list and kind of focusing on the points that stand out, like acknowledging its importance. Because I mean, if I think about a goal and it is really important to me, that even in itself is a motivator, just thinking how important it is to get it done. And also to acknowledge progress already made, because, like I said, it can be discouraging if you are failing and moving forward or running into roadblocks, but it helps to look back on all the work you've already done and, think about that you're almost there, I guess. And also the select supports to keep motivation high, because I think, like we've said, if you don't have support and you're kind of doing it by yourself, that's discouraging. So that's also an important point that stuck out to me.
Excellent. Thank you so much. It is encouraging to know that we can rekindle any goal that may have lost its flame. And the 7 steps we just explored can always be used to get you back on track. So, and now you have this, you have this powerful tool to you have this powerful tool in the worksheet to help you rekindle your flame for motivation. So let's apply these steps to a personal goal that you would like to fulfill. So at this point, let's pull out worksheet number 6, personal rekindling. And I'd like you to just take a look at the worksheet. Take a look at step 1. And I'd like you to think again about the goal that you stopped pursuing, which you identified in the last section, which is still important. And write down that goal in the space provided on step 1. And now take a look at step 2 and identify why this goal is important to you now. So some questions to answer are, what has changed about you that makes you want to rekindle your motivation to achieve the goal now? What is different about circumstances or what you understand about yourself or the importance of the goal? What is missing in your life because you haven't pursued this goal? How will your life be impacted in the future if you don't pursue it? How will you feel? So go ahead and take about 30 seconds to a minute while you complete that step. All right, now let's take a look at step 3. Take a moment to reflect on your current motivators to achieve your desired goal. And write your answers in the space provided. I'll give you some time to write that in. And now step 4. Write down any progress you made when you first set out towards this goal. And now let's go to step 5. Reflect on why your motivation waned in the first place and what supports you will need to put in place to keep yourself motivated this time around. And just write down your answers in the space provided. And now step 6. Identify what action you will take first to recommit to your goal. And write that in that answer in the space provided. And let's finish up with step 7. Lock it in with the benefits. How will my life be different when I achieve my goal? So just allow yourself to vision into that. Will your life be like? How will you feel? What will be different when you achieve your goal? Wonderful. The rekindling process is powerful for refueling our motivation to achieve our dreams. And we have a much greater chance of success if we know why we are pursuing our goal and have the proper plan and supports in place. You know that you can rekindle the fire of your own motivation if the goal is still important to you. And then all it takes is commitment and action. It is important for us to understand how best to tend to our fires of motivation. We must know what sparks us, why we lose our motivation, and how we can ensure that it stays high. And let's complete today's training by taking a moment to reflect on what you have learned about your own motivation and how you will use the rekindling process in the future. So throughout today's training, you've examined the fire of motivation, what motivations are strongest for you, what douses your flame, and how to rekindle goals that are important to you. So let's I'd like you to just take an opportunity, reflect on what you've learned about your own motivational fire. And yeah, there we go. Let's turn our thoughts to the image of the match. And I want you to imagine that your flame is strong and that you are in a state of very high motivation. And think about what words come to mind when you imagine what is motivating you so strongly. So I just want to open it up for some final sharing. What are some of the words that come to mind when you imagine what is motivating you so strongly? For me, it's like joy, creativity, connection. What are some words that come to you? And you can hold them for yourself too. I just want you to dwell on that for a little bit. And I love this quote. Winston Churchill said it best when he said, "Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts." So I want to thank you all for being on the training today and for your valuable participation. And that is it for our full moon webinar tonight. I want to thank you all for joining me. I hope you found this information valuable. And I'll just reiterate the offer really quickly. This is I'm nuts. I am nuts to be offering this to you. my marketing coach will scold me. But I want to encourage you anyway to embrace the summer of self-love. Join my self-love journey for just the $17 trial month and $47 recurring monthly fee by the 4th of July and receive your Courageous Love Immersion program for free. So do it now while you're thinking about it. Go to thewayoftruth.live/BYH. Thanks, everyone. Have a great night. I'll take you all off mute so we can say goodbyes. Bye, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 Bye, everyone. Thank you.